Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. What we're going to be doing is this repair, bit of a dent down on this arch with a few little dents just above it as well, but we done them as well for this customer. So this is our first video of using kind of like a GoPro cam. It's not actually a GoPro. We earn these points by using these SATA RPS cups. So what I decided to do was get some. We managed to save up enough points, and we was able to get some sort of it's a Go Extreme cam to do some videos on. And the main reason for the Go Extreme one is really because I've not had to pay for it. And we're just going to test this and see how it goes. So this is the first video of using it, and in all honesty, the quality is okay. It's okay. It's not great. I think you guys can get the idea of what we're doing. But what I will do is just try and get as much video footage as possible on my mobile, as the camera's pretty good on that. So obviously the only point of that is that I don't want to be taking the camera in there while we're spraying and cover my phone in spray. So we'll try and do as much on the phone going forward, and I think in the booth kind of spraying we'll just keep to this sort of footage, and I'll play about the settings on the camera and stuff like that, see if we can get any better, or if there's any angles that kind of look a bit better or clearer. So anyway, moving on from that, let's talk about the job that we're doing. So we obviously masked up the whole quarter panel. We're painting the whole quarter panel black primer, and the black primer was used because as we sanded this panel down, it was black underneath, so it made perfect sense to replicate that and go with the black. The aerosol can that you just see me use, I've used for a couple of years now, and it's brilliant for kind of the rub throughs. So when we're sanding down the panels and we get like a little bit of a rub through, yeah, it just gives our base coat the ideal kind of surface to be painting on. So we're not, if you don't put something on your rub throughs, you can actually, when you see, like when you're painting, you can actually see the lines of where the rub throughs are still. So ideally you need to cover them with something, whether it's a can or some wet and wet primer or anything like that. I've never been a fan of cans personally, the aerosol cans. So in all honesty, the last 3 years I've learned quite a lot, and in all honesty, we've used these cans for quite some time now, and they've really surprised me. So they've come such a long way since the time I started out in the trade. They used to be terrible, and they've just got so much better, and it's quite frightening really how quick they've got better. So that's the general idea, is just to cover up some rub throughs so that we can paint over them. So as you can see, although I've only got my primer section down the bottom there, the customer had a few little scratches just on there's a little bit at the back there that I'm colouring up as well for him. So we might as well fix them while we're there, because the colour on this is actually pretty good. I'm pretty sure I've done one of these a few years back. So at the moment the dealerships are closed, and normally with a dacia I phone the dealership and get the paint code that way, and because they were closed I actually had to kind of take a little bit of a risk with this. But I put the order in for the paint, and basically online you can download a free system which is Valspar. It's called Coins, and it's a paint system called Optional, and I used this system years ago, and you can actually get it free online. So with that you can actually type in the make and model of the vehicle and then put the year of the vehicle in as well, and that will give you every paint that was used in that specific time period. So in a short period of time you'll see me go into the computer and I actually kind of show you, well, how I found it really is just going to the computer, typing in the make, model and the year of the vehicle. There was only one blue metallic that they used, so this was a blue metallic, so it just made perfect sense that this was more than likely the one for this car. So ordered up the paint, we got the paint in, and you'll see by the end of the video that the match is near spot on. It's very, very good. So the customer didn't want to pay for any blends, that's always down to the customer. We can only advise what we would do or recommend. We don't charge a great deal for the blends. We kind of just charge a little bit for the time and the materials, and the blend is literally just fading the colour into the next panel, obviously making the repair kind of 100% really. But some customers pay for it, some customers don't. Some customers will rather take the chance. It's an awkward one, but it's always down to the customer at the end of the day. We're here to serve them and do what they require. So that's pretty much it. So another thing with doing the painting here is I believe we put 3 coats of base coat down, and that was enough to cover the black primer. So what I'll do is I'll let the video play and I'll jump in as and when I can share some info, anything like that. Just enjoy some spraying. Okay, so what we're going to be doing now is spraying a clear base coat. Um, and what this does is it actually helps with blending colours and things like that. So I pretty much do this on most jobs, and it's more of a peace of mind thing rather than a needing to do it. So with this blue metallic, we're just trying to blend the colour into just above that kind of curve, that swage line above the wheel arch. We're just trying to fade the colour into that very slightly, and then at the top of the just above that window there. So the clear base coat just helps aid the colour blends. So if somebody doesn't do it and you're possibly wondering what I'm doing, then that's exactly what it's for. It's not something that I used to do. And you know what? As I've kind of, I guess, grown as a painter, you kind of learn little tips, tricks, and see what works for you, what's easier. And I just find it really helps with the blends. So maybe not so much on something like this, maybe a silver or something like that, or even a light metallic. Will be this will be super beneficial for you. So I would definitely, if you haven't tried this method out, you can certainly try it. So that's just a clear base coat which is off of the paint scheme. So you lay that down so it's nice and wet, and then you actually spray into the wetness of that spray. And yeah, just make sure it's fully dry. The last thing you want to do is be rushing it when you're at this stage. So just make sure it's fully dry and work from then. So I usually do this last. I usually do this either on my last coat of colour or just before a drop coat or something like that. But it's one of those where we've all got different ways of doing things, and as long as we get the end result, that's the main thing that really matters. So it's just one of them things. Try it. If you like it, you like it. If you're struggling with blending or anything like that, then certainly give this method a go. I mean, this is how I got into actually using it. I think it was a silver that, in all honesty, the colour wasn't great, and I was just trying to blend this and fade this out, and the fade was just getting bigger and bigger to a point of I was running out of space on the car, and it was almost just the last roll of dice, just see how it goes, before having to key up the next panel and possibly blending into the next panel. So once I did this, I was actually over the moon because the blend just looked awesome. And after that moment of possibly madness, yeah, you know, when something works, when something works, it works. So once it worked, it kind of it never left me really. It was just one of them that almost force of habit now, and yeah, I love it. It works really well. So I've left this clip running without speeding it up at all because I just wanted to show you guys as well the base coat. When it goes on, you can see that it's clearly wet, and I do have an infrared lamp on this panel just keeping it warm. You can actually see the base coat drying, so when it dries out it goes to kind of like a matte sort of finish, and that's obviously the real indication that we're possibly ready for the next coat. So that's the reason why I've kept this running all the way through without skipping any bits or speeding any bits up. For those maybe just starting out in paintwork, the best advice I can probably give is just be patient. Unfortunately, painting is a process that just you can't rush it. You can rush it and you'll end up messing it up, or you'll rush it and you'll skip something, or you'll just end up ruining all the hard work that you've just done. Especially once you've done all the prep work and all the repair, you've just got the painting to finish off. Unfortunately, painting to some is kind of the easiest part of the job, but the most important part of the job really, because the final finish is what we all see and what the customer's going to see. So that's the most important part. And as you can see, we're just checking the colour, just making sure that we're covered all of that primer, and making sure that the blue is on there and looks good. The last thing we want to do is kind of lacquer a repair and pull it outside, and then it's not really what it looked like in the booth. So this light kind of gives us that best indication of, shall we lacquer it and get this job finished, or do I need to stop, do something? Is there any problems with the prep work? Is there any deep scratches in the prep work? Anything like that you're looking for? If there is, then you obviously need to rectify it now before you put your lacquer on. So always definitely check your panels, your repairs, especially your primered areas, with a light. I mean, I've seen repairs come into the shop before and you can see primer straight through the colour, and you just know that somebody's painted a part or a panel and they've just not checked at all. I mean, some blues that you think would cover really quickly, maybe in like 2 coats of colour, I've had to put kind of 5-6 coats of colour on before, just to try and cover them. So it's definitely an eye-opener, the more experience you've got in terms of what you do going forward. So this is a SATA 3000 RP, which RP stands for reduced pressure, and this gun is actually a new gun to me. I've only just brought it, so I'm still playing about with it. This is the first job, I believe, I sprayed with it. So it's always nerve-wracking when you're doing the first job with a new gun, because how do you set a spray gun up to start with to suit your style? It's very hard to. So the way that I normally do it is wind the fluid tip all the way out and pull the trigger in, and then wind the fluid tip all the way in until you can feel it on the actual trigger. So that's always a starting point for me, and then you work your way from there. I've done another job since with the spray gun and I've been tweaking it slightly, and basically all I'm trying to do is get the best out of the spray gun and the best out of the products that I work with. So that's the idea of just playing about with the spray gun. So this didn't come out too bad, certainly didn't come out too bad. Sprays were nice, but yeah, you know, I'll keep tweaking. That's just what we do. We're painters. We're always looking for better, always trying to improve. So here's the final result in the workshop. As you can see, we've got a lovely shiny new paint job. Colour looks excellent. And yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. Hopefully the next one you'll enjoy. On to the next one. Okay guys, so that's the end result. A little bit of damage just down there by the trim. As you can see, repaired. We painted the whole panel, didn't we? There you go. Lovely repair.